You're listening to the Small and Supercharged podcast with Ria Freeman, episode 169. Hi and welcome to this week's Small and Supercharged podcast. It's a solo with me, and this podcast has been created from something I posted as a Tip Tuesday a few weeks ago. Actually, when you listen to this, it'll be 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Which was all about how you can basically do more with your Instagram account to prevent you getting unwanted interactions, various words and phrases used in your comments. And it's a really, really cool feature. Part of it has been around for a while, part of it is fairly new. But it made me think about all the other stuff that is available in the settings of Instagram that can really help to enhance your experience of using the platform. So today's podcast is all about some features that you might not know that are brilliant and really helpful inside the platform itself. If you listen, please do screenshot and share to stories. I'd love to know if you knew about all of these. My plan was to say it was X features, but I'm probably not going to call it that because quite a few are sort of interlinked. We're really focusing on efficiency. I know there are a few efficiency ones that I have touched on previously, and privacy, and just making your Instagram world a better place because there are lots of things built in. I know that social media platform gets some real stick over being the kind of vehicle for trolling, negativity, all of these things. And I am so passionate about how it's not the platform's fault. I know that other people disagree with me, and that's fine. You're welcome. But to me, it's not the platform. The platform is benign in this. It's the input of people that then the platform, because of the very nature of what it does, gets out into the world. So I've actually been on the radio about this because I really am passionate about it. But that aside, there are lots of things we can do to control our experience or make our experience of using the platform better. I've talked about blocking people, I've talked about muting people, I've talked about following people across all different platforms. But these tips here are other inbuilt features that I said are either going to make you more efficient on there, which is always a win. And again, that's particularly if you're a business account, they're going to make you more efficient. But a lot of the privacy ones can help everybody. So what I would love you to do, I'm going to get my phone up at the same time, is open up your Instagram. And then if you tap on your icon, bottom right, so we're on the same page. And then if you look at the top right, you've got the 3 lines. All the stuff we're going to talk about today is found inside here. So you tap on the 3 lines and we're going to just look simply at settings. So if you tap onto settings, you've got a few different options here. If you've got a business account, you'll have business, which is one thing we're going to talk about, but you've got privacy, notifications, all sorts in here. So from a business point of view, we're now in settings, we're going to go to business, and saved replies are something I want to just quickly mention to you. This is something that I've talked about before. It will enhance the speed at which you can reply to repetitive questions. So from a business point of view, do you need a brand ambassador? Can I be your brand ambassador? Can I be your sponsored riders? Things that you get asked over and over that you would like to give a detailed reply to, but equally when sometimes you get sponsor me or something that you don't necessarily feel warrants a full reply, but equally you don't want to be rude, then it's useful to have. Now, save replies are really awesome. If you look through your account, you might find a pattern with people that ask you questions. Maybe it's, how can I buy your products online? Are you at any events this year? And you could then set up a save reply that would perhaps say events, because you can have a shortcut word that then allows you the option of adding the whole full reply that you've put into the platform. So you could have like events if people ask you which shows you're at this year, which could maybe then say, we go to a few shows every year, check out this page on our website with all of our events. Maybe you talk about sponsored riders or brand ambassadors, or just think about the questions that you get asked that require some kind of longer form response, but you want to have the control over that response. It's not automated. You want to look at it and go, oh, sponsored rider, brand ambassador, nearest stockist. So save replies will save you time. It also means you can be on brand with your responses. Rather than being tired and putting typos in, you can have those all preset. You can do them when you're wide awake in the daytime and they're there to go. Save replies is good. The next one I'm going to point out, what I would also say, just moving around as I tend to, have a look at all the settings. There are some really good features in here. I'm just highlighting a few that I think most people could benefit from, but there are loads more that people can benefit from. It might be something I revisit in the future, but go and have a look at the settings. There's a lot in there. The next one for business is frequently asked questions, FAQs. Mine's turned off. But basically, it'll help you to engage in a conversation with people when they ask you a question through a sequence of other questions. So what it has here is it allows you to suggest a question that people regularly ask. And then when people start a chat with your account, it suggests that question. So this just helps to streamline the process. It's a little bit, I guess, like the saved replies in that you are thinking about things you get asked on a regularly, but it's not as detailed. So what are your opening hours? Link to the website, or just we open from 6 to 5 Monday to Friday. I think it's good just to guide people. What's your website address? Think of the questions that you get asked frequently that you can just have a small link, a short link that points people in that direction. And then it will suggest those to people. You wouldn't necessarily want to suggest to everyone that DMs you, do you want to be our sponsored rider? Because that wouldn't work. So check that one out as well. Really, really handy to make sure that, again, you're just streamlining your processes. And I think when we are on social media, sometimes, we can get lost down a bit of a rabbit hole answering questions that could be automated, or that you could just really streamline. So there are a couple of ones specifically for business that I think is worth looking at if you have got a business account. Now, the really interesting one, thinking about trolling, negativity online, all these things, is the privacy setting. So if you tap on the privacy setting, there's loads of stuff in here that you may or may not know about. I'm not going to talk about all of it. I'm just going to talk about a few things. So on my screen, the top one is hidden words. Tap on that. And this is really good. So this generally helps you to control the kind of words people use in your comments, messages, whatever. Well, not control as such, but I guess limit your access to in an automated way that you don't have to get involved with. So there are different little sliders here. You can hide comments that can be offensive. You can add more to that as well. You can also have message requests with that. But it's a great function if you are finding yourself getting offensive, negative comments. Go and have a look and have a play around with it, because again, these are features there that have been created to help enhance your experience of the platform. So do go and have a look. Slightly further down, you can also create a custom word list, which actually extends not just to words, but also to emojis. So if you get specific types of negative comments, negative message requests, you can get really specific with what you don't want to see. And this can also, as I said, be emojis. I put this as a post up a few weeks ago about it, and it was interesting and sad that people were having to use this function. And these aren't, huge megastar celebrities. Not that means that they should get the kind of abuse they do at all, but just, normal people living normal lives are having to use these functions to limit the rubbish that arrives on their comments and through their DMs. But there were some emojis that they put in that they didn't want to see because they were usually connected to negative comments, negative DMs, and obviously words too. With these features, do not be afraid to try them, because it's going to enhance your enjoyment of the platform. Even though we know that people that send horrible messages are not our people, that are unpleasant, that they may have issues going on in their own world, I don't know. To me, it's a completely bizarre reaction for somebody to send something awful. But even if you know all of this, it still will likely affect you in some way, seeing this in your inbox, seeing it on your comments and thinking, oh God, I need to hide it, I need to do this. So take that control back. This is a great way to do it. And you can play around with it, you can have it on, you can have it off, you can do what you want to help make this better. So I would absolutely have a look. Don't feel like you are powerless. Don't feel like you have to remove your account if you don't want to, because for all the negatives of social, there are so many positives. And I think that these functions I'm chatting through now, I'm going to continue chatting through, will help to ensure that more people can really benefit from the incredible positives without the rubbish negatives. So do check out Hidden Words. It's another handy one there for you. Moving back through to the privacy window, the next one down is limits. Now this, I believe, is a fairly new feature, but again, another good one to help you get more out of the platform, to enjoy it more. So have a look at obviously the wording it says, but basically it allows you to temporarily limit unwanted comments and messages, particularly from non-followers and from recent followers. Again, go into limits, have a look. It explains it all to you on that page, and then you have got the options of actually setting those limits that you want to set, for how long, for who you want them to involve. Again, it's giving you the control back. So I would absolutely take that control back. And if you are having issues and you're blocking people and you're doing what you need to do that. Get them limited. Now, moving through a bit further on, we've got comments, posts, mentions, story. And these, again, allow you to take a bit more control back over who can interact with you. So, for example, if you click on the posts one of the options there is, do you allow tags? Do you allow people to tag you in their content? And you can allow everybody to, you can allow some people to, as in people that follow you, or you can really clamp that down and prevent anyone from doing that. I've seen this used before with, particularly like with celebrities with big accounts, but you might want it that actually you're getting some really weird tags from people who don't follow you. And I've had it before actually when I've been tagged on an image, it's rarely in English, some kind of like buy Instagram followers or something like that, and it really annoys me. I always untag myself. It doesn't happen a lot, but that would be a really good use for that. In stories, again, loads of options there. One that might be useful is stopping specific people from seeing your stories. So this could be something that you do, well, if you want to, really. If you're getting particular negative feedback from specific people, you could do that. It can also allow you to hide all photos and videos from people that you pick. So again, that might be something you want to consider if you're having issues. Then we've got mentions, which is again another really handy one, and that can limit who can tag you in content as well. So I just tend to allow everybody at the moment. I'm just looking through and thinking, oh, interesting. But if I had an issue, I would absolutely be using these. I think that's the thing, when we have an issue and we think, what do we do now? There's options there. It's not something you necessarily want to go through and do everything, and there are loads more than the things I'm sharing with you today, because it'd be a monster podcast. But go and have a look. So mentions you can do. You can limit comments. You can limit who you allow comments from on your content. Again, mine's set to everyone at the moment. But people that you follow, people you follow and your followers, there's a lot there that you can do. So again, take that control back. And then Reels, again, that has even got a control on there, and that is the remixing. So that's when you put up a reel and people can create a reel that plays alongside your reel. So that's useful if it's like an answer to a question, or the one about tell me you're a horse owner without telling me you're a horse owner. That's one that I've seen quite a few remixes on, and I've seen a similar thing on TikTok as well. So again, take that control back. If you don't want people using your content in any way you're not happy with, take that back. That's a really good one to do. Also, in the privacy tab, we have got a few other things as well. Now, messages at the very bottom of mine, that's a useful one because I've had a thing, I think quite a few people have actually, and it's about who can add you to groups on Instagram. And I was being added to all these, usually like competition-based groups and rubbish things like that, which just used to really annoy me. So I went into here and who can add you to groups. Mine was set to everyone, and it's now set to only people I follow on Instagram because I don't want to be added to all these weird groups. I don't have the time for that. So I've used that one, but again, more functions in there that you can use, but useful if you're having that thing where people are adding you to groups that you're not good with. That can be handy. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have got the restrict accounts one, which again might be useful. This will help to keep you, I say safe, but help prevent these unwanted interactions. And it means you don't have to block or unfollow them and they don't know. But it means that if they do leave a comment, only you and that person will see that comment, which again, really handy. If you have got someone that follows you that you feel inflames people a bit, you don't mind it, and maybe they're going through a tricky time or something like that, again, you can have a little bit more control over that. As I said before, do have a look at these settings. There are loads in there that you can really customise to make them work well for you. These are just a few. I just want to give you a bit of a flavour for it, so you'll go and explore more. And if you find yourself in a situation that you think, oh, I'm not good with this, I don't know what to do, even if we haven't covered it today, you will know where you could perhaps go and try and find that support, because there's a huge amount of stuff built into here. Now, the last section in settings we're going to look at today is actually the security setting. And there's two main things I want to draw your attention to. Well, one, if this was a video, it would have like flashing lights around it, which is if you have not set up your two-factor authentication yet, please consider doing it. If you need a good reason why, go and listen to podcast 129 called Stamps, Scams, Supporters and Instagram with the English Stamp Company. It's mind-blowing and terrifying in equal measure. But using the two-factor authentication, I'm not sure that anything is completely fail-safe, I'll be honest with you there, because I just don't. But I do think that it is going to help to make your account safer. So go and have a look at that. It's super easy to set up. I've got the authentication app on mine, but there are other ways that you can do it as well. And it just means that if someone tries to log into your account, it will say, oh, well, with me, it says, what's the code? And then so if I log in from my computer sometimes, it says, oh, we need the code. So I get the code on my phone, which is all set up. But it just closes that loop a bit. And honestly, it's such a quick process to set up. And it can save you so much heartache and so much stress. And as I said, do listen to that podcast with the English Stamp Company, because if you do one thing today from this podcast, that is possibly one of the ones that's going to help keep your account safe, or as safe as it can be. But it just puts another layer in, which is all we can do. We can just try and stack the odds in our favour, and I think that's a big one. Another thing that might be interesting is that, again, in the security settings, you've got the download data option. And this allows you to download, to keep a file with your photos and all sorts that you have shared on Instagram. I have done this before. Actually, I think it was in response to that podcast, but it allows you to have all those images, all that work, just in case anything ever happened and went a bit wonky. So again, a useful thing to know about. It might not be something that you want to do, but it's useful to have, and I think it's useful to keep just in case. But that is just a bit of a whistle-stop tour, really, of some of, I think, the most useful features. To be fair, in all honesty, inside that settings tab, there is so much stuff that can enhance your experience, that can help to keep you safer, can help to give you that control back. So I would definitely go and have a look there. It's really, really useful. Lots of cool stuff there for you to find, for you to get a better idea of how to protect your account and how to keep yourself safer. And I'd love to know what you think. So do screenshot, do share to stories. Let me know if you knew about all of those. Let me know if you've maybe used any of those. You don't have to, because I know sometimes we don't want to be sharing too much. But I'd love to know, and I really hope that's been helpful for you. Thank you so much for listening today. Just a quick shout out, if you haven't yet booked your tickets to come to the Social Sessions event, which I am holding at the gorgeous Steph, whose wife on the farm on Instagram's Willow Barn over in Worcester, do make sure you book your tickets. There's lots of mentions over on my Instagram and Facebook about it, but we're having a really cool event over there on the 15th of September, which is a Wednesday. And we've got 2 workshops. One's about how to show up authentically on social media, and one is about how to improve a specific aspect of social that we know is a big positive, a big thing at the moment. There's also a great opportunity to network, to chat, to meet new people, to eat cake. And also, just one more thing, particularly if you are equestrian, I am speaking at Beta International each day for the event. Tickets are free for the event, so do make sure you head on over to the Beta International website. Feel free to DM me if you need the links to either of these, and I will whiz them over to you as they're never that far away from my fingers or my phone. Thanks so much for listening today. I really do appreciate it, and we'll catch up really, really soon. Take care.